Well, hello everybody, and happy New Year, and welcome to Murray Red Nelson Panther Nation Alumni Show. Slim Overton, and I'm here. And I guess as you saw during the introduction, we were showing our executive board members, and we have one of our executive board members here with us today, and her name is Tonsie Sabb. I hope I got all those correct. And how you doing, Tonsie? How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for the invite.
Well, thanks for coming. And before we get started, I want to let everybody know, please like and subscribe and comments. We look for your comments as well. And make sure you share the show with others. So I want to get here first because Tansy, I want to know because let me tell you a short story. When I got to Union, my first roommate, we were introducing each other, and his name was John, and he had a nickname, Boo Pittman from Brooklyn. And I said, okay, my name is James Overton. He said, James Overton. How about if I call you Slim? Because that James Overton name just didn't tick with him. And so I was James Overton in the classroom, but on the campus, I was Slim. So, Tonsi, did you come to Union with that nickname, or did you pick it up there?
No, I was actually born with that name. I had no idea my name was Tanya until second grade.
Oh, wow. So
I'm from,
everybody was calling you that.
yes, everybody called me Tonsie. No one actually started calling me Tanya until I started working in the real world. Still, I started working in that workforce. And then all my coworkers were calling me Tanya. I was like, you know what, that is my name. Yeah. Yeah, I never
Yes.
even knew my name was Tanya until second
Yeah.
grade.
It's so easy to get those names like that, those nicknames, as we call them, and be so
Mhm.
attached to it. And somebody calls you by your real name, you don't even turn around because, you're so used to hearing that. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. That's how I got mine. And I didn't know if that happened at Union. A lot of people got to Union and then picked up those names according to what they did on campus or whatever. But anyway, since we're on that, I noticed that you're from Pennsylvania. Is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
how did you hear, or how did you get to Union from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? All those colleges and universities in between Pittsburgh and Virginia.
Well, back in the day, BET was really big. You know, BET had they would do black colleges basketball, and I would watch the basketball games, and I would see Virginia Union. Every single game I saw that year, that was like 89, 88, 89. They were really big. They were all over the TV screen. So I did my research on Virginia Union, and I actually met a person that attended Virginia Union when I went to visit one of my relatives in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And they said they were attending. So I decided to apply and I got in.
Wow, that's an interesting story. Did you apply to Virginia Union? Did you apply to any other colleges or get a chance to make any other trips, or was Virginia Union your first experience? And you,
Well, back then, no. I had never been to I didn't go on a college tour. I didn't do anything. I didn't know what I was going to do after graduation. I knew going to college was important, but I wasn't ready. I was
Mhm.
not ready. But the idea of continuing my education, I always knew was very important. It never left me. So once I got to Virginia Union, I only lasted 1 year.
Mm.
Only lasted 1 year. I was just not ready. I was not ready for school. But the what I learned from that 1 year Virginia Union was extremely important. The skills and everything that I learned, the knowledge that I gained from being in an atmosphere of an HBCU stuck with me, and I continued to grow and learn more and more about how important education was. So eventually, after I left that first year, I kept going back to Virginia Union. No matter where I lived in the world, I kept going back to Virginia, and I would take more classes at Virginia Union, more classes, and eventually I graduated from Virginia Union.
Yeah, Tonsie, it's funny you say that because when I graduated from high school, I wanted to take a year off, and you see a lot of students doing that nowadays. But
Mhm,
back in the day, whatever your parents said, you did,
mhm,
I wasn't quite 18 yet, so I couldn't make up my own mind. But I wanted that break in between, and I think a lot of students, even though you might think it's a natural progression between high school and college, it's a big difference, especially if you're going away to college. And as
mhm,
far from as you were from Pittsburgh, it's a big difference. It's a lot of things that are completely on you as far as responsibilities. Making sure you get up in class. Nobody's going to wake you up, not unless you have a good roommate that's going to wake you up.
mhm,
And it's a lot of things that go on that you really have to be prepared for. And a lot of students, get there and are not ready. And it's a good thing that you realized that and then took your time and then, progress, and did it the way you did it in order to uh, to accommodate you. It's all about, you and how you want to approach it. And a lot of college students have that pressure from the family to do something. Sometimes that pressure can be overwhelming in
mhm.
college. So
Yes, absolutely. And it wasn't that it was overwhelming for me. I mentally was not ready to be on my own and to attend a university, get to class every day, go
hmm
to parties and make sure I went to class the next day. I was not ready for that. And that's why I left. That's why I left. But when I was ready and I went back, I made sure that I got the education that I started at the HBCU that I started at. That was how
hmm
deep the love for Virginia Union was and how much of an impression it made on me. After I left, I could have gone anywhere else, but I went back
yeah,
to Virginia Union.
yeah. And it wasn't Virginia Union; it was a personal choice you made. Let me go back to your days in growing up in Pittsburgh. Was it anybody that probably influenced you? I know you had family members that influenced you, but somebody that you thought about as you got older that kind of influenced you when you were growing up in Pittsburgh that sort of helped you when you got to college. Somebody that you saw. It could be anybody. It could be your pastor. It could be the guy on the street. Sometimes those guys on the street can have a little word, have some words of wisdom that really help us, that really carry with us into our adulthood. Was there anybody like that around you growing up in Pittsburgh?
At the time I was growing up, it was always kids are seen but not heard.
hmm
So it was not things that anyone said, but I watched the lifestyle of growing up in church. I watched the lifestyle of one person in particular. Her name was Lori Carter Evans, and she went to Pitt, University of Pittsburgh. And she graduated as a metallurgic engineer from Pitt. And it was nothing that she said. It was how she carried herself in school, how she did her work, how smart she was, graduated college with highest honors, what she did after school, things that she did, things that she talked about in school, the friends that she met. That's what encouraged me the most. That's what taught me education was important. The job that she had afterwards, the home that she had, the lifestyle that she lived, a good lifestyle. And
hmm
that's what encouraged me the most. So she was the most influential person growing up that I had.
And that probably lets you know that education is a big part of success. Not necessarily in every situation, but in most situations, education is important as far as how successful you'll be in life. Now let's
Mhm.
get to when you got to campus. We're celebrating like 160 years of the university, and there's certain generations that we saw changes. I was there in the '70s, and a lot of time looking at the academic degrees and programs that they have now that were nowhere near what we had then. Even drama, they have a bachelor's degree in drama and, social work, which wasn't there then. Of course, I think you said you were majored in biology.
Yes, I did.
So
Yes.
how was your campus like? How did you once you got there and you were mentally ready for the college life? How did you balance that? Biology is not the easiest major to have, for some people. How
Hmm.
did you balance that and also enjoying the campus life? College also is a social has a social setting there that we all want to be a part of. So how did you balance that?
The first time I got to Virginia Union, my freshman year, I did not balance everything well. I was a cheerleader. I wasn't a very good cheerleader, but I was a cheerleader. I
Yeah.
was in, I was in awe of everything.
Mhm.
This was my first time at a HBCU. Now, back in Pittsburgh in high school, I went to a private school. It was an all girls school, but there was
Mhm.
not many people of color there. So going to my first time stepping on campus at a HBCU was overwhelming to me. All these beautiful people, all these
Big
beautiful.
eyes there.
Yes, it was amazing to me, and I had such a great time my freshman year, which is why I I only stayed 1 year the first
Mhm.
time. But I did not declare a major my first year there. I had to experience it. I had to experience life. I had to enjoy everything that I did on campus. Not until I went back to school did I declare a major of biology. That's because at that time I had already been working in a hospital. I had already had some science behind me, which helped me become a histologist. So, but I could not, there was a lot of things I could not do. Even though I was working in pathology as a histologist, there was a lot of things I could not do because I did not have a
Yeah.
degree. So that was
Now, for
another.
those who don't know what that is, me, explain exactly what that is.
A histologist is a person who studies disease within tissue. We
Hmm.
do immunohistochemistry, special staining of cells. We are the biggest kept secret in the hospital because we help pathologists make diagnosis of different cancers within a person's body. We are in the operating rooms. At least we were back in the day. We were in the operating rooms when they needed an immediate diagnosis to see if, for example, for a person who may have breast cancer, did they get all the margins and everything correctly? Did they take out enough? Do they need to take out more? We were there to let them know where to go and when to stop. So a histologist is the biggest kept secret within a hospital.
Wow, yeah, that's it. Very interesting. And what's also interesting, you made a intentional pivot because you end up going to law school. So
I,
explain that pivot because they're two completely different fields. Now, I think we mentioned when I talked before, Governor Wilder, when he went to Virginia Union, his major was chemistry, and
mm.
he ended up going to law school and ended up being, of course, the first Black governor of the state of Virginia. So, explain your pivot because it seemed like that was a good place to be where you were at first, as far as the way you explained and how you could really contribute in that area. So explain that pivot.
After graduating from Virginia Union, I had some amazing teachers. I had Dr. Sutton. He was
Mhm.
my philosophy teacher. I had Dr. McShepard, who was one of my biology teachers. I had some amazing teachers, and who is a teacher there who's still there right now. I believe his name was, we called him Dr. Van. And
Mhm.
he's the one who told me about a friend that he had that went to law school and had a biology degree and was able to work for like a a company where they make chemicals, or they make a pharmaceutical company. So that made me, get a little more interested about what I wanted to do after I graduated. So I attended American University Washington College of Law, where I graduated from.
Mhm.
And I was
And go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
was able to, am able now to combine my biology degree with the law degree. What I wanted to do was work in a hospital as an administrator.
Hmm.
So I wanted to work in compliance. So compliance is where healthcare compliance is what I enjoy doing the most.
Yeah, and it's good to have that background, that knowledge of the medical field, while you're working in that, because I'm sure that comes up, the compliance part of it comes up a lot in hospitals, when you're dealing with patients and everything. So, and I want to talk about your with what you're doing now with our alumni, but talking about those careers, I mean those degrees you have. I think that's associated with what you're doing now with CoLink, the CoLink Foundation. Talk a little bit about the CoLink Foundation and what you're doing now. And I think once you talk a little bit about that, people will be able to see how you're combining both of those degrees, which seems total opposites, but they are helping you in that foundation.
Well, actually, the Coling Foundation was founded by me and four other people, and we are a general assistance foundation. We help people with general assistance. Our mission is to be a safety net of last resort for families and individuals in need of emergency help. So we offer food assistance, assistance for your car, but it's for people who are already working, who just are in that gray area, who just need a little bit of help to get back on the right track of stability.
Hmm.
So we help them, like I said, with food. It could be a car note, it could be car maintenance, rental assistance. We help with all kinds of things to help a person or a family get back on their feet. Sometimes people are working paycheck to paycheck. And if it wasn't for that one emergency that they needed, they could move on to be even more stable. So we are there to help people stabilize themselves. Um, we do write grants and stuff. We write grants for other nonprofits. The grant compliance helps, my education helps with the grant compliance, because we make sure that we and everybody that we write grants for, we are in total compliance with all laws, rules, and regulations that is needed for that grant. So that's how I kind of tie things together.
Yeah, and probably that legal background helps a lot. People might be in situations where you'll be able to guide them in the right direction to go. You might be able to help them before they file bankruptcy. Maybe you might want to look at this angle before you do that. So I guess that's very important and very helpful. Your legal background as far as that, working with the foundation as well.
Mhm. Yes, indeed it is.
So a lot of people when they're in college, that's when they create or they create their drive for what they want to do the rest of their life. Was there anything that happened in college that sort of made you look forward or think about once to help you, not help you, that was on your mind that said, I want to start this foundation. This is something I want to do. You know, was it something that happened or something that influenced you at Union to that help drive you towards what you're doing now?
Yes, there was all kinds of things, volunteer work that we could do. There was always people looking for volunteers for something. There was always people that were in need of something. Even the college students, back when I was there the first time, somebody was always in need of something. Somebody needed a bus ticket to get home, or somebody needed money just for to get something to eat because they were up studying late at night. There was always a need for something, and that's what encouraged me to start a nonprofit to help others in need. We will also help college students in need of books. If they need help with buying books or anything like that, we will also help with that. So that was what encouraged me to do more volunteer work and to start this nonprofit and helping others in the things that are needed the most.
Yeah, and I know it was a big commitment to your studies and everything, but what are some of the fun moments that you had or fond moments that were really fun that you had at the university? Because that's all a part of it as well, especially meeting new people from all over the country. And so, it is some fun that you can have there. Can you think of anything that sort of stands out in your mind that that happened to you that was kind of funny or maybe even embarrassing while you were there? We all
The
had those experiences outside of the classroom.
Yes, yes, absolutely. The funniest thing that I had to do in one of my classes, we had to do the history of Virginia Union.
No.
And I actually, and we were, there was different ways of how to express and how to talk about our history. You could rap, you could sing, you could do however you wanted to do it was acceptable. And I did a rap. I rapped our history.
You wrapped the history.
And I am not a rapper, but I got up on the stage. I got up I got up on the stage in front of my whole class and actually did a rap about the history of Virginia Union.
As you say, it used to be a jail, and
I do have the recording around here somewhere, but yeah, I talked about the different people that came and the different people that came and spoke at Virginia Union, all the famous people that came to Virginia Union. I talked about that, and it was a pretty cool rap. I actually got a standing ovation afterwards.
wow, if you ever find that, let me know because we're going to share that right here on on this Panther Nation alumni show. Yeah, please look for it when you have the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So, after you graduated and you out there in the world, and how long was it before you heard about the Alumni Association that was, because it used to be more like a South Side thing and a Peninsula thing. And now it's more combined where we, you're from Newport News, quite a few of our members are from Hampton, and of course on the South Side, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk. So when did you first hear about the Alumni Association?
I first heard about it, I think after I had graduated, I immediately contacted the Alumni Association on campus.
Mm,
And once I mentioned that I lived in Newport News, they said, "Oh, we have one in Hampton Roads." And I had a contact number. I think it was Dennis Reddick, who was the
mhm,
president at the time. I got his contact number, and I think I sent him an email, and he immediately called me back and said, "Hey, we have meetings first Saturdays, and come on out." And Miss Claudia, she was the secretary. Claudia Stith
mhm.
was the secretary at the
Yeah,
time.
longtime secretary.
Yeah, she gave me the information. She made sure I was there, and once I did sign on in Zoom, everybody was so welcoming and just so nice, and just they were really appreciative that I was there, and it made me feel
Mhm.
more comfortable and made me want to do more for the organization.
So now you're the secretary, and you know, and most people, and with these alumni associations, sometimes in those positions, you're in there for a while
Mhm.
because a lot of people come in with their visions or things that they want to do at their position, and sometimes it takes a while for those visions to come true to fruition. So hopefully that you're gonna hang in there. And you mentioned Claudia; she's been 16 years as the secretary. So
Mhm.
just just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. So how what is your vision in your position going forward for the alumni association?
Well, I'm the treasurer
Mhm.
for the alumni chapter, and my vision is to bring back an annual gala, something to raise money. I want to do more fundraisers in order for us to help more students from the Hampton Roads area that are going to Virginia Union. I want to be able to be an organization that the students who need help can lean on and say, "Can you help me? Can you help my family? Can you help others around that wants to come to Virginia Union. We need to start with not only kids in high school, but we need to start kids in middle school. And
Right.
I go to so many in my spare time. I do substitute teach in Newport News Public Schools,
Mhm.
and every school that I go to, I do not see a Virginia Union flag up there. There's a flag for every school, but not a Virginia
And
Union.
HBCU, other HBCUs as well, huh?
I see Hampton, I see Norfolk, but I do
Norfolk
not
State.
see Virginia Union. So
Yeah.
I would like to get more flags, and I would like to, a goal of mine is to, by the end of 2025, make sure that Virginia Union's flag is hanging up in every social counselor's office in the schools.
Yes, it's amazing. I used to see that too and say, well, why, just because we're in Richmond, because I see Virginia Tech in here and they're even further than Richmond. I see
Yes.
universities that are not even in Virginia. So, it's a task sometimes trying to make sure, and people know about Virginia Union. You just mention it to anybody, but some of the younger people need to be exposed to it. And I always say, if you don't, the college education is important in itself. Of course, we're going to push you. We want you to attend Virginia Union, but just consider us and consider college, as a whole. But yeah, and I'm glad you are in that position where you can ask those questions. Why we don't have a banner here, and if you need one, we can supply you with it.
Hmm. Yes,
So
yes.
So I want to ask you, I want to go back a little bit. I want to ask you this because you're from Pittsburgh. How did you end up in Newport News? Because, and I found that with a lot of people that go to Union or go to college in general end up going back home and taking whatever they learn back to their home or their community and try to work there. How did you end up in Newport News?
But my
And I'm
husband,
glad you're there. I'm glad you're there.
yes, my husband is military.
Okay.
He was in the army, and although he is Korean, he was born in Korea, raised in Korea, but
Hmm.
he lived here in Hampton. One of his family's stops, they lived in Hampton, so he
Hmm.
graduated high school in Hampton. And once he finished the military himself, his last stop was Fort Eustis. So
Okay.
this is where we stayed.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad you picked here. Was it at any time were you thinking about going back home, or
No, it's too cold. It's way too cold. No.
you kind of got used to this Virginia weather, which is cold to us, but even
Mhm.
colder in Pittsburgh, I'm sure.
Although I will always be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I will
Yeah.
not go home to live.
No, that's another story. I'm not going to tell you. Well, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so
Oh, sorry.
yeah, yeah. Thanks. Condolences. But anyway, I before we end, I want to ask you because you said you were into doing the substitute teaching and you asked about how come it's no union uh, flags or anything like that in there. If you had the opportunity, and you probably have done this, to talk to students, what would you tell them about the advantages of attending Virginia Union University?
One of the biggest advantages is we have the opportunity to learn more about Christ. Being able to, we have a church right there on campus, where you can go to church, continue your Christian education as well. I think that is the biggest thing, is being able to pray in school, pray before you go, and pray when you leave. And for me, maintaining my religion while in school was a very, very important to me. And if that's important to everyone else getting their education, you're sending your kids off to school, you want to know that they're still going to church, they're still praising the Lord, that's where they need to go.
Yes, indeed, because a lot of prayers have to go up before those big exams.
Yes.
And you have to know how to pray. But anyway, Tanji, I want to thank you for coming on the alumni show, and we look forward to having you back soon to talk about some of the fundraisers that will be coming up for our chapter here in Hampton Roads. And we appreciate you taking the time. And are there any last words you'd like to say to our audience before you go?
I just want to thank you again for the invite, for allowing me to come on and speak about my time at Virginia Union and about the CoLink Foundation. I hope everyone who is not a part of an alumni chapter now to come on and join Mary Red Nelson. Doesn't matter where you live. We are more than happy to have more people come over and support our chapter. We are doing amazing things for Virginia Union. We are the highest donating chapter, I believe, around right now. And please, if you get a chance, look up the CoLink Foundation. And if I know tax season is coming around, if anyone needs a write-off, we are a nonprofit. You can write any donations off to the CoLink Foundation or even to Mary Red Nelson Hampton Roads chapter, who is also a nonprofit. So my final words are, please come and join us.
Yes, indeed. And that invitation goes out to undergrads and people that uh, graduated grad school, because we do have some members that went to other undergrads, but they came out of the School of Theology or another grad program, and also friends of the university. If you had children that went to the university, you didn't necessarily go, or you just know people that went there and you just want to support us, feel free to contact us and be a part and donate to us. Like Tonsie said, it's a tax break that all of us are looking for now, and we just appreciate the opportunity to serve you and to serve our students that are our present students. That's one of our goals, to assist the students. And from Hampton Roads, we did something we gave money to the band. We looked out for the football players and some of the academic programs. So support us so we can keep supporting the university. We want to thank you again, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Tonsie. Have a great day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And remember to like, subscribe, and comment, but mostly subscribe. We're trying to build this channel here on YouTube. So we'll need you to subscribe so you can know about all future programs that we have scheduled here. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.